Transform. What's going on, guys? It's Dealer here, back again with yet another RDX podcast. Phenomenal panel, phenomenal topics. Thank you guys for showing up, as you always do. Let me push this fucking pause button real quick. Okay, so hey, here's the deal, guys. We got a ton of great topics, a lot of interesting stuff going around the community this week, and we're going to give our take on all of these things as well as a ton more. So hit that like button. We do appreciate it. We're going to get into some intros, get into some topics, and you know what? We'll just keep it moving. So what's going on, Colt? Thanks for joining us, bud.
I'm doing good. Good to be back for RDX. Been super busy. It's been an interesting week. A lot of stuff is going to get real interesting with Crackdown releasing soon.
Crack Rock 3.
Yep.
Yes. Hey, Zalker, what's going on, buddy?
Not much, man. Just playing games, working on videos, but playing a lot of Apex Legends. It's actually really fun. A lot of people should check it out. And yeah, I can't wait to get into these topics, and I can't wait for Crackdown 3 on Thursday night. I'm going to be right there, right when it launches.
Is that Apex? It's fun, huh? That Apex Legends?
It's stupid fun, man. It's stupid fun.
Hey, D-Batch, what's going on, bud? I know you're a little tired, but thanks for joining us.
Yeah, man. Yeah, nothing much. Just trying to get some content out, doing some reviews for the RTX 2060, and I'm currently testing the Radeon 7, and I'm exhausted.
9 lives, 210. Hey, bud. And we've got Fonzarelli as well, buddy. Your second week back is another. Well, hey, for your second time, a regular panel member for RDX. What's going on, bud?
You know what? I'm happy to be here, but who are the 4 fucks that aren't happy to be here and hit dislike as soon as the show started?
Well, what they saw was us discussing this whole Jim Ryan comment about less, games, and they're such fanboys that offended them, so they can go fuck themselves. So, hey, Hans, what have you been up to, though, bud? You know, topics?
I'm ready to go with these topics, but it's funny you asked me what I've been up to, because as I mentioned last week, I've been playing a lot of AC Odyssey, and like I said in my last video, sometimes I jump the gun on things, and I definitely jumped the gun about that game. That game is fire, people.
So you're taking the biggest L ever live on air? Is that what you said?
Hey, you know what? I already took the L months ago when I said, hey, I should play the game before I talk about it. So that L has been caught months ago.
So you're saying Odyssey is one of the best games you played in a long time? It's
one of the best games I've played this generation for sure.
Damn. Mm-hmm. He's dancing with that L. He don't give a fuck.
We didn't give this game a rim job for 3 weeks for no reason.
He's actually turned that into a W, though, right?
Yeah, he did.
Really cool.
Hey, we got a lot of good topics. We got some awesome sponsors as well. Captain Redbeard. We've also got Lethal Papa Darge Knight, Prime Suspect. We've got Michael Bowen, Channing Pennington, Guillermo Cavillo, which we've actually got a topic from this week, and Robert Prather. Thank you guys for what you do. You really do power the show. We do appreciate it. You want to become a sponsor? Link down below in the description, and a lot more. So let's get into Let's get into Crackdown 3 real quick. It's kind of the hot topic right now. We've got some information, some footage. Colt, you've played it. You've got a review ready to go on day one. But here's the thing. They just revealed the fact that you will not be able to party up with friends as you go into the Wrecking Zone Cloud Power multiplayer. A lot of people are mad about this, and you know what? I'll say rightfully so. What are your thoughts on this, Fonzarelli?
You know what? I think it's a big fat L for Microsoft. Honestly, I think this is terrible. I mean, it's Microsoft. This is the company that usually talks about multiplayer, playing with your friends, and then here they come out with a first-party title, and they're like, "Oh, you can't do that." It's just, it's weird.
Sumo Digital's like, "Fuck, we forgot. I knew we were forgetting something."
Well, isn't it another development team that does
it's not.
multiplayer?
It's basically Microsoft Studios. Yeah.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bad.
So what's your take on it, Colt? You're a big Crackdown fan.
It didn't even occur to me that it wouldn't be there. Like, why wouldn't it be? And then the Crackdown team and Microsoft very quickly stepped right up and said, hey, we're going to add that post-launch. But the question I have is this a thing that takes like a day or two to implement? Or is this something that takes a few weeks to get right? Or is it taking an hour or what? Like, we don't know. And that's the kind of the crappy part. It's kind of a 5v5, every man for himself type of thing. I mean, obviously you can play the game in a party, but you're not going to be in the same game, and that's a problem.
I have to call out Other Zinc in the chat. He's all, how's that party system working? Days Gone again? We don't always have to compare Sony with Microsoft games. This is an L. You got to take that, Other Zinc. Stop damage controlling, okay? It's not a good look.
Yeah. And to you got to remember, a lot of people like Rise and even Quantum Break and stuff. You know, if you like the single player stuff, you're not worried about that kind of stuff. So once more, the whole party system, no excuse for it. It should have been there. We all know that. And there's also a lot of talk of cloud power destruction downgrade. But of course, a lot of people they're not really up to date on the situation. The company that made that 2015 demo that was shot off screen with one developer that wasn't even close to, it was a prototype, that company got bought. So they obviously couldn't use that old destruction. I mean, you can Google this right now. Epic bought CloudGen. Microsoft then had to retool and rebuild that multiplayer because that company was bought. So many of you can push agendas about how the multiplayer is downgraded. That's fine. It definitely used to look a lot better, but it also was definitely running on some crazy PC hardware using technology that Microsoft don't even own because they were bought by Epic. So once more, we heard a lot of people talking about this downgrade, Zucker. What are your thoughts?
They, that demo wasn't for the, so far for the public, and they didn't promise it for Crackdown 3. But again, it's Microsoft's fault for showing it. That's the biggest thing that they took. They took an L on that. And now, this game just it's just not catching a break anywhere you turn. And a lot of it is just them shooting themselves in the foot, right? Like this was supposed to be, I don't know if you remember, I think they said this was supposed to be a multiplayer only game at one point. Like it was, and then you don't even have matchmaking in a multiplayer only game. Like what are you doing? What is happening over there? Like, to me, I'm excited to play, the Wrecking Zone, and I want to have fun with it, and I'm going to shoot some people, but it's not something I'm going to stick around for. I'm looking forward to the single player because that's what I attest to Crackdown when I was playing it when it first came out years ago. But I just don't understand why Microsoft is even like it's so natural to just have that. And every game you play that has multiplayer, there's always like, hey, you can play with a buddy or 4 buddies or 3 buddies. Like, look at every game that's come out. They just have it. It doesn't make any sense why it shouldn't be there day one. I don't care what everybody's damage controlling. It's bullshit. And we're not going to stand here and tell you bullshit and be like, hey, it's okay. They'll get it on later. No, it should be there day one. It should literally be like, all right, well, when you start this game up, you can play with your friends. That's it. There's even co-op in the single player, people. Like, I don't understand.
Matter of fact, I would have even postponed it a week or something just to get that multiplayer, in there with friends.
Do the Red Dead thing. The Red Dead thing. Bring the multiplayer out 30 days later if you have to, or 20 days later, whatever it needs to be. And that actually helped Red Dead. Let's be honest. Red Dead, if the multiplayer launched with it, would have been part of the reviews and would have hurt it because the multiplayer was complete garbage at the beginning for the first 3 weeks. And a lot of people didn't like it.
A newsflash, it still is.
Hey,
it is, yeah.
We got to give a shout out to almost 400 people watching us live already, guys. We do appreciate it. Hit that like button. Maybe share this somewhere, wherever you share things. And of course, let us know what you think in the chat about Crackdown. That's my biggest thing. I want to know what the chat thinks. We got a whole mixture of people, some that absolutely hate Crackdown for some reason, and some that really like the game, even if they haven't played it. They're still excited, and that's fine. But what are your thoughts about this multiplayer thing going on, and of course the cloud destruction stuff? I like how people move the goalpost and kind of tilt it a little bit away from, well, the cloud thing will never happen. It's impossible. That's all bullshit. To, it doesn't look as good as that tech demo 4 years ago.
But honestly, weren't we saying this a year and a half ago here on RDX? I mean, I remember saying it myself that I don't think it's going to even be close to that tech demo they showed. And I saw this coming where, we're going to get what we were going to get, a Crackdown game. And that's what we got. And even though it's not my cup of tea, it's, it's for other gamers. Some gamers really like Crackdown, and you know what? They're going to have a great time with this. So
what were we expecting with, I know we talked a lot about the whole entire city that was fully destructible. I know Dealer and I talked about how we were going to, mess around with that game a lot, how you didn't really care about the campaign, but what do we expect to do in this massive city blowing up buildings? Wouldn't that get old if you just walk? I don't even know what kind of gameplay mode they could put in this big open city, but it could have been something really great. But basically, CloudGen kind of disappeared, went to Epic, and Microsoft had to come up with that promise on the fly in 1 year, and this is what we get: a downgraded multiplayer mode. That the weird thing is, we'll just close it out with this. The weird thing is that everyone who's playing it in the tech test loves it. They're really enjoying it. And it's unfortunate that it got downgraded, but people are really having a lot of fun.
I got to add, though, because there's people in the chat saying it too, and I've heard this on Twitter and everything. They're saying that Microsoft is pushing this cloud tech as the future, and they want to see the results of that. And I think we are seeing the results in that in plenty of games. The cloud does work. However, is it as good as what they showed in that tech demo? No, of course not, but it's working.
Yeah, it's Gen 1. And like I said, I can't wait to see how else they use this, right? They're going to use this in other games. So, like, this is just one application, so... really excited to see how that works out. You know what? And if you're a Crackdown fan, I want you to have as much fun with it as possible. I'm not going to go yell at someone because they're playing Gravity Rush 2 and tell them to get a real fucking game. I'm going to say, hey, it's not for me, but I hope you have fun. And I say the same to everyone who's playing Crackdown. I will be on Metro, possibly the best looking console game ever. Definitely that day, and I'll switch between that Crackdown and Crack Rock and whatever else is out. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to. Well, unless D had something to say, I know D, you know, this is cloud power stuff. We've been talking about this for a while.
Yeah, I'm like with everybody. I'm a little bit disappointed that, you know, the version that we saw at GDC didn't make it to the final build. And, you know, the reason is obvious. They don't have the company anymore. So it is what it is. People Colt said we're playing it over the weekend and they were having a good time playing it. So I'm going to play it on Friday. I'm going to have, you know, an open attitude towards the game. And at the very least, at least I get to play the single player campaign as Terry Crews. So, and it's a Game Pass game. So I got nothing to lose, really.
Oh, there's a much better agent in that roster. And I'm going to choose him. I'm not going to tell anyone who it is either. Hey, let's talk about these comments from some Sony executives here recently. Basically, people are running around with some of these article headlines. One says that Sony are going to focus on less games, and they don't really frame it, you know, how the article does. But there's also a lot of people that are upset because Jim Ryan was promoted, right, Colt? I mean, you've done videos talking about this guy where he's like, who wants to... Jim Ryan has literally talked about backwards compatibility on the Xbox, saying, who wants to play old games? Why he then turns around and sells your son, you know, a subscription to PS Now to play old games. It didn't make...
And a PS Classic, yeah.
Yeah, and a PS Classic. And no, PS Classic is not proof that backwards compatibility doesn't matter. It's about bringing the games forward with you that you've already paid for, right?
Yeah, and Jim Ryan also said last year, a year and a half ago, he said that developers won't give a crap. I mean, he didn't say that way, but he said developers won't care if the Xbox Scorpio's more powerful. They will push all their games to work the best on the biggest console, which is the PS4.
Did that happen, Colt Eastwood?
It happened like 3 times. Yeah, it happened about 3 times out of like 300 games, but no, he was wrong.
Yeah.
But at any rate, people aren't happy about this decision, and I don't know why they're doing it either.
Well, even some Sony fans are pretty upset this guy's getting promoted because he already said he doesn't care about backwards compatibility. Who wants to play that while he's selling you? I think at the time it was Crash Bandicoot that was coming out exclusively for a year, right? That thing did crazy numbers. Also selling PS Now for years. Like, it doesn't make too much sense. And PS Classic. But then Sean Layden was talking about some stuff. He had some comments. Anybody else look into this?
Yeah, I did. I actually looked into the Jim Ryan thing a lot, and this was the first time I was on Reddit and for everything, and I was reading comments to see what people felt about it, because I'm not trying to troll. I didn't say anything back. I just wanted to see how everybody felt about it, and a lot of people, PlayStation fans especially, not just a few, a lot of them were very troubled.
Well, all I was saying, who Sean Layden is out there.
Sean Layden is the guy that you see at E3 that was talking next to the banjo guy. That guy, you know, the guy that shows all the games, and he has that nice suit.
You know what's a better description of him? He's the fat guy in the tiny suit.
Oh, come on.
Really, Fonz? You had to bring the tiny suit into it?
Yeah.
He's the chairman of the Sony Interactive Entertainment people. That's who Sean Layden is. And he talked about, was he the one that talked about the multiplayer or the crossplay? Is that which one you're talking about?
Here's what he said. Yes. He said that they're not interested in chasing trends. As a matter of fact, they're going to do fewer. Wait, hang on. Oh, fewer higher quality games in favor of kind of add more polish to the ones that they have in production, right? Building them up. Right. Okay. And this is where people got that. We're making less PS4 games from the article titles. when in fact he's saying, hey, we're going to actually give games more time. And as we know, time is what gives games like God of War the detail that it has, right?
Yeah, and I think he's going into that because of he got a lot of questions. He had an interview down like about 20 minutes away from where I live with a Game Informer. He had an interview with them talking about E3, and he kind of said, "There's nothing for us to show except what we've already shown you." And that's when he started going off on talking about, well, we're going to take a little more time into games and release less games, but they're going to be higher quality. And that's kind of scary, because what happens if it's not higher quality? What happens if something goes wrong? A development hell, right? What happens if the game isn't accepted as much? I mean,
you know what? Yeah, I'm not worried about that at all, Zucker. Honestly, with the pedigree that Sony's had this generation with exclusives, I think they'll do just fine. And if they're going to work more on quality, that's great. I mean, take those MJ missions out of the next Spider-Man, and they'll be fantastic.
No, they need to add more of those, right, Fonz?
Yeah, sure.
The best part of the game, man.
Oh yeah.
Did
you make it through Spider-Man yet, bud?
Almost at the end.
What do you think about Sean Layden's comments, D? Do you think maybe they will really put more funds, more polish in these games? How much fewer games do you think they'll release in return for these higher dev budgets?
I just think basically they're just not going to rush games out. You know, they're going to give it time, like what you're saying. They're going to give it time to be developed properly, and if that means, you know, not having so many games out in a certain season, then so be it. And I agree with that. Let's get the quality up there. The quality's been pretty good this generation, to be honest with you. The only small blemish that they may have is Days Gone, because you know that's been kind of here and there with what they've shown. The last showing was a lot better, but I still saw a few little things that I didn't like. So let's see how the final product comes out. But yeah, if you got to delay these games or put out less games to have better quality games, I'm all for it.
Yeah, Lucas says, I don't mind waiting for higher quality, and I agree. That's actually something we've been pushing Microsoft to do, is to give those teams more time, because like I said, time is detail. You know, yeah, they've had some odd ones, but mostly those weren't really first party. So you had The Order, you had games like Killzone at a low 70, you had Knack in the 50s. Like most of these were at the beginning, though. They've been on all cylinders here in the last year or so, right? Whereas, you know, some of their third-party teams that just naturally build PlayStation games and they never come to Xbox. Quantic Dream, they left. They actually said, "Hey, we're going multi-plat." That's Detroit Become Human. Do you think that's going to come to the Xbox eventually, Colt?
Detroit?
Yeah, or maybe Sony owned that IP. Maybe Sony.
Yeah, I don't know about
Sony
that.
owns that IP. Actually, I think that the developer is going multi-plat. I think they got funding from NetEase, right? I think it was. So their games are probably going multi-plat from now on. A lot of people like Detroit Become Human. They thought it was a pretty good stopgap AA game right in between Spider-Man and God of War. So hopefully we get to check out their games and get them on Xbox and probably PC and everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's pretty.
But
good.
Sean
I don't know. I
Layden
kind of
also-
feel. Oh, go ahead, Colt.
I mean, we went one direction. Sean Layden said some really cool stuff. I don't know if that's in your notes. Like he's supporting the adaptive controller, which has been out about 9 or 10 months, and Sony hasn't spoken up about supporting it on the PlayStation. All they have to do is ask Microsoft, "Hey, we want this on our platform," and Microsoft will send them the INI file or whatever they need to make it happen. Yeah, I mean, that's good. What did you get what he said about
Go ahead, tell everyone.
other devices? I mean, I have to do it by memory, but he kind of said that consoles are the opening door. I'm going to paraphrase this from memory, but he said they're an open door to other gaming experiences, and that gaming is really supposed to be anywhere you want, even if it's on other devices. Basically what he said, right? Which is really cool to hear, because Phil Spencer and his team have been saying that ever since E3, especially this E3. So, yeah, I mean, it looks like there's all this flexibility that's coming the way that gaming is evolving, and that's really good to hear.
Phil and them have been saying this since 2015 when they introduced Xbox
I'm
Play
being
Anywhere.
generous, I suppose.
Yeah, and we've told everyone about this job listing. It's there's nothing official. It's a job listing. It's official, right? So they've already talked about how they're going to bring everything to any device, right? Just like Microsoft. And it's odd because people are freaking out because, you know, their games aren't locked down to one box, but it doesn't really benefit you in any way. So, I mean, it's just kind of stupid logic, really. You just kind of got to think about what's best for you. So yeah, Fonz, you know that Sony's already streaming games in Japan and everything to mobile devices and all this stuff, right?
Yeah, I was told about that. And you know what? This is you know, when I thought more about this situation, I looked at this the industry and where it's moving towards. I mean, that global reach is really what these businesses want. I mean, come on, it's these are businesses. They want to make money. So it just makes sense. And this is where it's headed, honestly. I don't care personally where I play my games as long as I get to play the games I want to play. That's the bottom line.
Buy one copy, take it anywhere, play it anywhere, right?
Right.
That only benefits you. There is no benefit to being locked down to one box unless you're trying to pull out the Pokemon cards and go to war with some idiot, right? So like I said, it's definitely going to be the future. They've hinted at this for a long time. It's been very obvious, and it's only good for pretty much everyone involved as long as they do this well. And no, it doesn't mean bonds. Why do they exist?
These
businesses? Why are they here? To make money.
To make money. And here's the thing, and it doesn't spell the end of consoles, people. Get that out of your head.
And Fonz, you should think that, right? So, take it from Fonz.
I think Sean said that as well. I think he added in a little bit there where he said that they'll always have consoles, or people always play there. I mean, it's he said it's far into the future where people would use that as their main gaming. It's just the way it is.
Isn't it a little confusing though? Like, wasn't it just last week that Sony was saying that they're going to be doubling down on the traditional like console way, and that they don't really have the technology or the means to really do the cloud computing and the cloud gaming to every device yet? And so that they can't really compete with that. So they're just going to be going with hardcore on the console. Then Sean Layden says this like a week later.
Well, they don't have it today, but they're working on it. We know that.
Yeah. So
as we were talking about forever ago, like PS Now, it's going to go to mobile devices next. We said this over a year ago, and people are blown away by this. So they are working on infrastructure now to let you do this more efficiently. And when that's possible, you'll definitely have that option. They don't have it now. But, hey, technically xCloud isn't out right now either, right? So, I don't know. It's Microsoft have doubled down on the console thing as well, over and over, right? Because they say one thing and they get hammered, right?
Yeah, so it's just kind of like all over the place. It's like I really just want, instead of talking, just show us what you're going to be doing and show us that you can do it. That's kind of where I'm at this point with both of these companies is, they keep bringing it up, but like, let's just show it. Like, if it's not ready, then kind of relax and don't mention it. Then if it is, then hey, then bring it out, like talk about it, show us, like actually show us what's happening and get it in our hands so we can test it. That's the way I see it, and I just don't know why Sony's saying one thing, going the other, and then Microsoft's the same way, right?
They're doing the same thing. One's just doing it either faster or better, most likely.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And people are freaking out. They're literally screaming into their microphones as they praise one for locking games to one box. That's absolutely absurd to me.
Yeah, I wanted to say that. I did.
Hey, we got to give a shout out to 600 people watching already, guys. Hit that like button. Let's try to get the 300 for the end of the show. We do appreciate it. D, I wanted a prediction from you. When is that PS Now coming to all these devices?
Probably close to. I say they're the next PlayStation event. They'll probably announce that.
You think so?
Maybe, possibly.
Because we definitely know Microsoft are talking heavy with xCloud, the C3.
Yeah, because they're gonna need to combat Microsoft with their cloud devices. Amazon, Verizon, all these companies coming up with their cloud devices. So they're gonna need to have something to combat that. And to be honest with you, I don't think it's a bad idea to be able to play your PlayStation games on a mobile device. You got time to kill an hour at the doctor's or wherever. It's a good service to have that you can extend the life of your games. So.
Well, just remember when Phil said that those games are coming to devices, right? Everyone freaked out, but it seems to be people have checked themselves real quick, right?
You know what? You know what's funny about all this? I remember a time when PS Now was on TVs and stuff, and nobody was complaining about this tech at all.
Yeah,
like it was on devices. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. Nobody was saying, "Oh, the sky's falling, consoles are going away." Nobody was saying that when PS Now was on TVs and stuff.
No, it used to be in more places. That's right.
It's kind of odd to me. Every time Xbox seems to be doing something, all of a sudden it's a problem. It's very weird. Very weird.
I have I have to say one thing. I don't know, man. I kind of feel like it's weird from reading all these articles, what Sony's saying, what Microsoft's saying. I don't think they're going to show it this year. I think they're a few years away, if not a lot more than we think, because they've kind of hinted. Sony kind of tells their fans abruptly what to expect. They just need to read between the lines. To me, I think them saying, "Oh, we're doubling down on traditional consoles," mean we're not even fucking near bringing anything to streaming like that, like to what Xbox is doing. And then with Sean Layden saying, "Oh, we're just going to make fewer games that are going to take longer," to me, that just screams something's going to be delayed, and you're not going to like it.
So you're saying
what I think.
You're saying Sony's still on 3G.
Fuck, man, I don't know. Like, they might be on AOL. We don't know. If they come out this year and announce it, I'm gonna be happy because I want to play my games anywhere. I'm gonna be super happy. I'm gonna be the first one there being like, fuck yeah, let's get this going. But I just don't see it happening. I do not see them because Microsoft has them and Amazon have the two best servers in the world. Like, provide, like they're amazing. And Microsoft's not even showing it yet. And if they show it at E3, then yeah, cool. But if they don't, do you think Sony's even close to being at the farther? And that's what I'm trying to say.
The only way around it for them is they'd have to rent the services from either Amazon and Microsoft. And I think Sony's too prideful to do such a thing.
And I don't think Amazon would do it because Amazon apparently has their own little thing that they're doing with gaming, right? I don't think they're going to, unless they make a partnership with them and it's kind of like a symbiotic relationship. But I just don't see it happening.
It's not prideful. Wouldn't that kill their profit margin if they were renting?
Yeah, but just the way some Japanese companies, that's the way they think, right? So
yeah, it's very hierarchical. So they don't want to do business unless they control a lot of it, or it's very respectful and it's a very, like I said, symbiotic relationship. Well, and maybe Amazon will do that.
They're doubling down on consoles. They better double down again because apparently everything I'm hearing, even still, that Anaconda is going to be by far the most capable piece of kit in 2020. So they better double down a little harder. That's all I got to say. I don't know what that whole crouching down to 2021 thing was about. Maybe they know that, hey, we've announced everything that's coming out between here and there, and you won't hear anything new until 2021. Many assumed, including myself, that maybe that would be the beginning of the generation because if you're launching a console, you're not crouching, right? That's the last thing I'm doing. I'm in the air in slow motion and shit, right?
I think that was more of a guesstimate, at the time. I don't think they had it nailed down.
Oh, they got that roadmap. They got that roadmap.
Yeah, these companies know at least like 2 years out what the hell they're going to be doing. I think Microsoft has put a wrench into their plans. Next generation, and I'm not just saying this because I like the Xbox platform. Just look at all the information that we have, all the studios that they have, all the talent that they're acquiring. Like every week we hear about somebody big leaving their team and coming over to the Initiative Studios or one of the other studios. Next generation, honestly to tell you, Microsoft's going to have a lot of exclusives. They're going to have some really good games. Well, I hope there'll be good caliber games, but they're going to have a lot of exclusives. I don't think that's going to be a problem next generation. And I think Sony, most generations, they kind of start off kind of slow, and as the generation progresses, then they start to bring out their games. Microsoft, if they do it right, bringing out great games and this powerful system, I don't know.
I have to argue though that I think that now with these well-established studios with Sony, I think that starting this next generation, it's a different scenario. I think that with Naughty Dog, just Naughty Dog alone, honestly, they've got something going on there. The studio Santa Monica as well, with their God of War series, they've really got some heavy hitters they can, really come out with early on next generation. And I think that is something. It's great to hear though that Microsoft's got all these studios because we are actually going to get really good competition next gen, and that is the most exciting part to me, is the fact that we are going to have a fight here next generation, where this gen we really didn't have a fight.
I don't see Santa Monica and Naughty Dog releasing games when PS5 comes out. I see them bringing out games like maybe 2 to 3 years after that comes out. So I don't know what studios that like are such high caliber compared to those two. Those are Sony's two best studios, right? So if they're going to give them time to get to know the machine, get to know everything, to get the best out of it, I just don't know what they're like. What D said, I don't think they're going to have one of those big studios coming out.
Horizon Zero Dawn 2 will be a launch title for
yeah. I think
that's okay. There you go. That's one of them that I see.
They better do a way better job on that story. Holy fuck!
It was a decent game though. I liked it. So looking forward to it.
So let us know in the chat what you think when Sony are going to debut this technology. We know they're working on it. Job listings, insiders, and more talking about this. It's common sense. They've hinted at it. Even Sean Layden recently talking about your devices. They want to sell you more copies, and to get more copies, you need more people. And to get more people, you need to put on more things. So it's common sense. We can move on past that.
You know, I got to call out Others Inc. again. I'm sorry, but he's becoming the new top dog for me on this show. Jesus, dude. Really? I mean, he's sitting there saying Naughty Dog is overrated. Bro, stop it. You're over here.
They're top rated.
You're damage controlling every Xbox AA game that comes out, no matter what.
What's the lowest Naughty Dog rated game? Like, maybe Uncharted 3, and it's like a 91 or 92.
Dude, honestly, man, you embarrass yourself, okay? I don't even have to call you out on it. You embarrass yourself in that chat, but keep talking, man. Keep talking.
Hey, leave all those things alone for motherfucker get some nunchucks out and shit, beat your ass. Come on. Let's go ahead.
Naughty Dog's amazing, bro.
We gotta give a shout out. Yeah, we gotta give a shout out to Others Inc. He's a passionate guy. We also gotta give a shout out to, well, fuck it. Let's say it. Rumple Foreskin. How you doing, bud? And
Rumple Foreskin.
We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go ahead. Thanks for the super chat. Like I said, let us know in the chat when you guys think this is gonna debut and how you think that's gonna compare to both Google's and Microsoft's streaming service. As we move on to a little lighter topic before we get into some of the great stuff here, the Outer Worlds confirmed to be 15 to 40 hours playtime. And this is Obsidian's first post-acquisition launch game, but not developed with Microsoft money. It was funded by 2K. It is not an exclusive. And this is kind of like, who knows what kind of budget and how much time they had on this. Like I said, it was funded by 2K. 15 to 40 hours, D. Is that surprising for an Obsidian RPG type game?
Not really into those type of games, to be honest with you.
It is very surprising, though. I mean, come on, like that. Those guys are known to make pretty big, long games. You mean New Vegas was long, KOTOR 2 was long. I mean, it's world building. These guys really immerse you with story and immerse you with the environment that you're in. It's kind of a weird number, like 15 to 40. Like that's such a huge, like what the hell? Where did that come from? Why is that number?
Playthrough, if you go through the story and maybe do a few things, is 15 hours.
So if you like do side shit and stuff like that, you can get a lot more out of it, basically.
Well, I'm wanting to say they probably put some, because you don't go from 15 to 40 like that. Like they did the same thing with Spider-Man. They said that you could get like 40 hours out of Spider-Man or some shit. And we all knew that, hey, that's probably if you do all the little dumb shit that doesn't matter. I put like 35 hours, but I like that game a lot. So I don't know. Most people probably spend 15 to 20 hours.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it because we can see what this studio is capable of without a huge budget that Microsoft's probably going to be giving them. I mean, these guys aren't a small studio. I know a lot of people think that it was, this was kind of spoiled for us months before XO18, but this is one of the biggest acquisitions Microsoft has done in my book. They're, a 200-person studio. Santa Monica's 200 people. Like, that's how big they are. They make AAA big world games that immerse you. And I love them. I do. I think they're one of the best developers out there. I think they have a lot of passion and a lot of talent, and they kick ass.
Hey, we got to give a shout out to JBlaze 9800. What's going on, bud? Also to Noof, Bud the Cyborg. We've also got Spider-Man. We want to say what's going on to all you guys. Epic Monk. You know what, Colt? Let me know. This is the Fallout New Vegas team.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, 15-hour mark there.
I don't know. I can't imagine like a game like Fallout New Vegas. I think you could probably beat that game in 15 or 30 hours if you mainline it. Actually, I think you can beat it in like 17 minutes if you run right through the gate.
It takes about 30 hours to beat just the main story, and about 60 hours to do like little side missions, and about 140 hours to do everything.
Yeah, the point is, if you play an RPG and you beat it in 15 hours, you played it wrong. Hopefully, this is a big experience. Obsidian just said that they are not happy with people making fun of Bethesda and making fun of like Fallout 76. Like they're kind of standing up for them. Like, I guess they've worked with them in different capacities and worked with them to get Fallout New Vegas done. And that was something they said today. They said they're not happy with people constantly bashing on Fallout 76, which I'm kind of been banging the drum lately because of Crackdown. Like, if you're not interested in the game, if you're not concerned or you don't plan on buying it, or it's not even on the platform you play on, say your piece once and walk away. I don't understand why people are constantly bashing on a game they don't like. Like, I would never sit around and talk about, like, let's say Kingdom Hearts 3, that's not a game for me. I would never talk about that game more than once, and several tweets and several videos talking about why I don't like that game or why I don't think people should play it. I just don't understand that mentality.
At last count, there's certain people in this community that's already made like 15 videos on Crackdown 3 since Tuesday, you know. But the thing is, you know, concerning this Obsidian thing and their game being 15 to 40 hours or whatever, that's not a bad thing, honestly. I was giving it some thought today because you can actually beat Fallout 4 in like 12 hours if you just do the main story. You can actually beat it. But I put in over 259 hours in that game. All right. So it just depends on your play style. You can actually put in, and they say that game is roughly a 70+ hour game. So it just goes to show you that, you know, you can actually put more or less depending on how you play. So it's not a bad thing at all. If it's at least 15 hours, that's great. That's great.
Who here is looking forward to Outer Worlds?
I am.
Me.
I like this. Love that stuff.
Cool. Yeah, it looks fun.
Philosopher Doom says Fonz's new avatar looks like Captain Grape Drink.
God damn it.
Captain Grape Drink. From the
I like Fonz's new logo a lot. It looks good. Like Captain Grape Drink.
I don't know. Outer Worlds looks interesting. I've said it before. It looks a little stiff, but you know, it's far from release when we saw it. So that was the debut, actually. So I got high hopes. We'll see how that game turns out. D, I don't know if you have looked into that at all.
No, I didn't.
He's like, no, I'm just benchmarking this Vega radio.
I just been staring at it, sleeping with it, adding it, shining it up, talking to it.
Keeping you warm.
Yeah. What is this? The Initiative, getting more Sony talent, people that are working a lot with Sony, and I applaud this because I don't mind it. You see some talent, swoop it up, lure them over. It's called competition. It benefits the developers as well. They got Victoria Miller, who helped launch a couple different games. Detroit Become Human. You've got Beyond Two Souls, Until Dawn, and more. And she joined in January, according to her LinkedIn page as well. You know, it's just another chapter in, hey, better developers make better games, and we're kind of excited for that kind of stuff. I don't know. Anybody got anything to say on this? Kind of a quick one here. Spank me, daddy. Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, she, I mean, another talented person coming on. I mean, she's obviously worked on story-centric games, which is pretty cool. I'm looking at her LinkedIn right now. She did join in January. She was working for Sony Entertainment for 8 years. She worked for Double Helix Games. She has a freaking robust, you know, resume. Honestly, she looks pretty cool. She's launched 20+ AAA digital games.
That's cool.
She doesn't mess around, man. She's worked on No Man's Sky, Alienation, Rush.
Don't list those games, Zauker.
Little Big Planet 2-3. You know, she's been everywhere. She's a software development. So that's pretty cool, man.
You know, Luke, I read it out loud because I had to, okay? I had to. I mean, you can't.
Did have to.
Yeah, you got to do it. I saw another comment too. Why is Sony losing so much talent? That's actually a good question, Others Inc. And it's got to do with, hey, the Initiative, for instance. You need like 10 years of experience just to work there, right? So Daryl Gallagher's got like 20, and they're like, hey, can you go here and make us some badass games? He's like, I guess I'll try, and then I guess we'll find out in 3 years. So,
Yeah.
I'll give it a shot. Fuck it, let's do this.
Yeah, I'm hoping for the best, man. I really am. But yeah, more talent coming over, D-Batch. It's always a good thing, right, D-Batch?
Obviously. Like I said, time and time again, next gen, Microsoft's gonna have their foot on the throat of Sony, man. They're gonna have the exclusives ready and
shit. D-Batch talking shit.
We got decimated. Like, let's be honest, we got decimated this generation for exclusives on the Xbox platform. They were like in a different league. So I can't.
Don't you dare talk bad about Recore, dude. Ever.
You know, in all honesty, apart from Forza and Gears of War, like, you know, nothing's been memorable for me, really.
Well, let's keep shit 100. Both Sony and Microsoft have had some L's in the exclusive department, right? When it comes to reviews, like I said, Drive Club low 70, Killzone low 70, Knack in the 50s. You got The Order at a low 60. You've got No Man's Sky, which was on that PlayStation for a year, and they were hyping the fuck out of that. That was in, I think, Actually, I think that did better than it should. I think it was like a 70 actually. But there's a ton of games on both platforms that are a 70 or lower, and magically a 70 is unplayable though these days. But at the end of the day, you know, it's the back half. It's really 18 that really shot Sony up for me. 17, they had Horizon Zero Dawn, which was the only one that was appealing to me. I don't want to play Gran Turismo. I got Forza. Why the fuck am I going to play Gran Turismo? So really, Horizon Zero Dawn, and if you like baseball and stuff, they got that for you as well. I'm not saying they don't have games that don't appeal, but at the end of the day, for me personally, if I got a Pro, there's nothing holding me back from buying the games. I only wanted Horizon Zero Dawn in 2017. And unfortunately, that game just turned out to be boring as fuck. So I didn't really play it as much as I thought I would. I was really looking forward to it. I played the hell out of God of War and Spider-Man. Horizon Zero Dawn, not even in the same league. I can't believe it's in an 89 Metacritic personally. But if you liked it, you liked it. What are we gonna do? We're gonna tell you stop playing it? No, we're not. If you liked it, you liked it. So
let's stop having fun.
Stop having fun. Hey, we gotta shout out to well over 600 people watching us live, guys. Hit that like button. Let's try to get up to over 300 for the end of the show. It really does help. We're actually not too far off our goal already. You guys are awesome.
I need to play Horizon Zero Dawn, man. Like even PlayStation fans have told me, like,
no, Zucker, don't. You can't play it because I don't like it, Zucker.
I got it, man. I got to try it out, man. I have it here too. I got it for like $8 or something like that. So
yeah, I got it pretty cheap.
That's something Sony do really well. I will give them props for this. Their games, like a year and a half after launch, you can often find them with all the DLC in a flash sale for $10 or $5 even. I mean, they do their own exclusive sales much better than Xbox.
Yeah,
in my opinion. I mean, even Forza Horizon 3 is still like $30 on the store, like on sale. You know, that's they need to start having some of those flash sales. It ain't gonna hurt them to sell Gears 4 for $5 or $10 randomly, like, you know, every couple months or something. Like, it don't hurt. So I guess we'll have to wait and see if they pick up on that. Sales have gotten a lot better. I think we can all agree on that. Let's go ahead and start talking about these developers that are actually getting pretty pissed. And there's a lot of stuff going on with Sony this week, aren't there? We normally don't talk about this much, but
been quiet for quite a few months actually with them.
Yeah, they have. Sony basically shutting some developers down on the crossplay issue. We all thought this was kind of behind us, or at least well underway to actually, you know, having some progress here. And apparently the War Thunder developer has asked Sony for permission several times and basically got shut down every single time trying to do crossplay with other platforms. And then you've got the Smite and Paladin developers, or the publisher, also also calling Sony out for playing favorites when it comes to what games they decide can actually have crossplay. So Fortnite or Rocket League, for instance, they're like, sure. But, you know, Smite, they're like, no, you're not allowed. Why do you think that is, chat? Let us know. And I kind of want to ask Fonz here, why do you think they're kind of picking favorites here, as the developer put it?
I don't know. I have no idea why they're doing that. It makes no sense to me. I mean, I would just open it up to all the developers.
They're like, you're going to make us go over our data cap. I mean, why do you think it is?
I think I don't know. What do you think, D? I mean,
I think it's obvious, man. Fortnite, these other games. What was the other game that they said they could do it?
Rocket League.
Rocket League. These are very big, huge, popular games. So, you know, they're going to bend over a little bit for these developers, whereas Smite is not as big and as popular. So Sony being Sony saying, nah, you can't do it because they have the leverage over them, right?
Isn't that a little fucked up, D-Bag?
You know what? Somebody in the chat said it's because they're the market leader. What does that have to do with it?
No, it's not. It's because Sony has a mantra internally that if they allow crossplay, that's one more gamer that won't buy a PS4 or won't have to buy a PS4. Like I guess him saying they're the market leader, they have like the market position, and they have the position to say no, thank you.
I don't.
And they are doing that.
I don't think that. I think D is a little bit right on these big games that they'll put more effort into getting crossplay on there, but I just don't think they have the infrastructure to actually take on all of it. I think that they're getting there, and I think that, like, I mean, they've talked about their infrastructure before. Like, I mean, people can't, like, you know, still have trouble changing their names.
But sorry, not to cut you off, but didn't the Fortnite developers make this open source so that anybody could use that code to implement crossplay?
Well, the thing that's open source is the Unreal Engine, and that's like you can use, anybody can use it. We can go get in and just check it out and see what it is. But they say it's like a flip of the switch, and it's a flip of the switch with certain networks that are actually interlaced with it. So if you look at Xbox, they've made theirs so good and so open source that anybody can just get on there. That's why Xbox Live is basically going everywhere, because they built it to do that. I don't think Sony built it to do that. I think they're trying to now. I think they're kind of reiterating it, like going, hey, like the people we're talking about hiring, like they're hiring people. This isn't like a rumor. This is official. They're hiring people for network stuff. And that's what they're trying to get to basically move forward for. I think they're getting ready for next generation. And that'll be a good announcement for them to say face, be like, oh, PS5, and we're going to have crossplay. Like, I think that's what they're doing.
The problem, and we'll let you change your name, right?
Huh?
And we'll let you change your name.
But you lose 30% of your.
No. And you don't lose it. You know, maybe they'll make that change.
No, Fonz. It's one or the other. You choose.
Well, Fonz, it's going to be a while, dude.
What you didn't mention is that. What you didn't mention is that Sean said that they've talked to developers about crossplay and they haven't allowed it, and then the developers are saying they were outright told no. There are two different developers, which I think you were saying when you brought this subject up. There are two different developers that talked on forums or on some website, was it Reset Era or something, that they were outright told no, that they weren't allowed. They're ready to flip the switch. And
yeah, Sean Lading said, oh yeah, it's up to the developer. Like, we kind of keep it up to them. And the developers were like, fuck you. No, it wasn't. You literally told us no and moved on. Like, didn't even give us a second chance. And they want it. Like, what developer does not want that? Honestly.
I don't know why he would be lying like that. Lucas said something similar to D as well. Bigger games had the, kind of the driving force to bully their way into crossplay. Let's say it right. But at the end of the day, it just makes it even more fucked up when you compromise for a certain set and not another. And it introduces another whole dynamic into this that's not fair for smaller developers who really need that increased player pool more than anyone. Their game sells less. They need more players, and to do that, crossplay is probably the best way. Combine all those ecosystems as well. So I had something else I wanted to throw in there, but yeah, Layden's saying it's up to the developers. Do you think it's up to the developers, Colt, if these two literally come out and say this right around the same time?
No, because they're all these other games are trying to implement crossplay when they can, and the only blockade that we've seen is from Sony. Tons of games aren't even worried about crossplay or don't have it like as a priority, but the ones that do, the hurdle is with Sony and the PS4. And I don't mean to sound negative or sound like I'm trying to take a pot shot at Sony, but I really think that their main reason that they don't want to say out loud, and I don't blame them, is that it gives an excuse, which Microsoft's given plenty of excuses to buy an Xbox if you want or not. I mean, you can buy on our Microsoft Windows platform on PC if you want, but just buy the games. We're making money off the software. And Sony needs that hardware sale, however little that margin is for selling a console. But I think they just kind of have this mindset that they want people, they don't want them to have a reason not to get a PlayStation. They feel like everyone's buying a PlayStation. The whole world's buying a PlayStation. We want everyone to have one, and we don't want to give them reasons not to get one.
Because that's the only advantage they have, and it's really their biggest seller. And Sony in general, that's making their money for them. They sold off a lot of their brands. Luke has another good point. Jim Ryan talking about, we got to save the children.
Oh my God, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, so Jim Ryan's a fraud. I think he's proven that himself.
Head of Sony Entertainment.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. That's very interesting. A lot of Sony fans, like I said, are even upset about that. So let us know how you feel about that in the chat. We've also got Division 2 beta impressions. Real quick, Zach, you played some of this. For any Division fan, how's it different, and why the fuck should they care now?
Everything mechanically is better. It's big. It's huge. There's a lot of endgame. The PvP is completely revamped. The graphics look amazing. The level areas are not just buildings like New York. I just made a video about this. It's everywhere. The color palette's amazing. Everything about the game is so improved. There are bugs, audio bugs that a lot of people ran into during the demo or the beta. And, a lot of people were giving shit about that. They've had come out and said, we're working on it. So that's cool. Hey, it's a month away, more than a month away. And so it's just such a great game. And when you get to the end game, apparently it is, I did research for my video. It is freaking crazy how much they have in there. It's the most robust end game I've ever seen a game do next to World of Warcraft. And I'm not saying that lightly. Like they put a lot, and I mean a lot of effort into this. They learned a lot from Division 1. If you're a Division fan or even a looter shooter fan, this is like literally the just down your alley. It's just everything you need, and it looks so good.
Yeah, I'm not a looter shooter fan, but I'm hooked on the Division. I like the first one. The only thing I didn't like about the first one was the bullet sponge thing, and
that's
gone. Yeah, that's gone. Like, you know, you clap a guy in his head, he's going down. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like that.
That's cool.
And it's so detailed that if a guy doesn't even have armor and you can see like his shirt or his flesh and you shoot him there, he'll die quickly. Like he'll just and fall over. Like that's how detailed it is.
Yeah, the weapons feel good. The graphics are a bit of it's. To be honest with you, the first game looks so beautiful. Anyways, you know, it's a little bit smoother looking than the first game. I'm not going to say it's like a huge leap above.
But the first one was in winter, bud. Like wasn't it kind of dreary?
Yeah,
I'm more colorful.
Yeah, I'm talking from a graphical, like from an art direction. Yes, it's a lot more colorful. You know, you got more sun. You know, you got rain in there too. You know, you got the reflections. Yeah, it's a beautiful looking game. I already have it pre-ordered. I had it pre-ordered from like way back, so I can't wait to play this. The beta was really well run, to be honest with you. And somewhere in between the weekend, it actually got an update because I was just doing like some benchmarking on it just to see how the performance was. And when it first launched up, it was a little bit patchy, and then I think it was Saturday I saw there was like an update, so I updated the game, and then it was like really, really smooth.
Well, it was for the end game. They added the invasion missions, which were you fight these dudes called the Black Tusks, who are not part of the game or the 40-hour campaign at all, and they unlock when you hit level 30. And they come out and they start invading the map and invading a lot of shit, and it's tied with the story. And those guys, they put those guys in there. So when you hit level 30, this whole new group with a whole new fighting mechanic, armor, drones are like I played the one mission of it, and I didn't want to play anymore to spoil anything, but they're hard, man. They're tough and they're really good. It's really
Staying awake is tough right now. Holy shit.
I know you love these kind of
yeah. Rude. Dealer's so rude.
Division 2, look at this. Mackay, he says, please grind and grind games. I agree.
I see everybody else saying they love it.
Mackay did say you're a fraud for saying I'm 31 years old. Come on, motherfucker. Anyway, Division 2, Zalker. I said real quick. Basically, it's really good, right? Look forward to it.
It's so good.
It's so good. D, you're liking it as well, right, bud?
Yeah, it's awesome. I can't wait to play the full game. And I got to say, kudos to not just the division, Ubisoft for the Division, but all the developers lately with their betas. We've been getting a good grasp of what these games are going to bring to the table, and like the betas have been like, you know, pretty wide open. So yeah, I was impressed. And I can't wait to get it.
It's good stuff.
How come you keep talking about the Division 2 not having really spongy enemies? Because everything that I've seen, they're still kind of spongy.
Yeah. Which ones were you talking about?
Like the human enemies.
I literally shoot people in the head and they fell over.
Yeah. Yeah. You shoot them in the head or maybe 2 shots and they drop.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that on a lot of gameplay.
It's way crazier.
Bad shooters.
Are they shooting them in the thigh? Like, and they're like the armor's breaking off, and then they shoot them in the chest after, and the armor's breaking off. Like, you got to concentrate on it. Forces you to concentrate on one part of the body. So you have to like actually shoot the player or shoot the enemy and have accuracy.
Well, Luca's getting it too. She really likes it as well. She's excited for it. And she's a fraud too, though.
Saying that they played it and it's spongy as fuck. So
did you play it and have any sponge problems once?
No. I'm talking about people in the chat saying it's spongy. They played it. So and I'm looking at it right now. It people shooting other people, and it's like taking a while before they go down.
Yeah, I mean it's the Division. I mean, and ain't much changed, and that's a beta, and I'm sure it'll get more and more spongy as you find higher and higher level enemies.
Yeah, it depends on the level of the enemy, of course, and the armor, and like we said, where you shoot them. You know, it's whatever. It is what it is. I don't think it's really as spongy as the first game, to be honest.
Does the sequel have a guy that goes, "They got Alex"? I heard that about 90 times in the first game. They got Alex.
Alex is still gone when the second one comes up.
They found Alex.
I got some rapid fire topics. God damn it!
Wait, what's his name on Red Dead that he's looking for? Fonz? What's the guy looking? He's looking for.
I'm muting Colt right now.
Colt.
Off
the rails.
AC Odyssey, New Game Plus. coming as well as the final piece to the first set of DLC. For those of you that didn't know, so you are getting New Game Plus, you're getting that final DLC, so we can finally go through the Hidden Blade thing, Colt.
Yeah.
Worth being excited about, I guess. Apex Legends doing absolutely phenomenal. 25 million players, 2 million concurrent, which is fucking insane. Well, it is free to play, but it's still really, really good. You've also got the Outer Worlds to be kind of a bit smaller than KOTOR 2 is what Obsidian actually said, which I forgot I even put that in there. So if you're wondering about the size of it, Knights of the Old Republic 2, the sense a bit smaller than that. Take it or leave it. Halo Infinite will not make the same mistakes as Halo 5. #KillLock. Yeah, that's good. And then we've also got Watch Dogs 3.
Oh god.
Essentially confirmed, unofficially, and it even makes mention of next generation hardware.
Why?
We know.
Why is there a Watch Dogs 3? Oh.
Because you want to beat the fuck out of people with a yo-yo, right?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, gosh.
That last hipster
With a
one,
yo-yo?
like, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, what's wrong? Do you don't like yo-yos and hipsters? God, D's such a hater. So yeah, next gen hardware, D. I mean, Watch Dogs, at least you'll be able to play it at 60 frames on console, right? Probably.
Yeah. I think next gen should have a million times it's going to be 60 frames per second. So if they're already kind of saying it's going to be next gen, then maybe that's going to be one of the multi-plat launch titles for these next gen consoles.
Somebody said, "Is garbage? Nobody's gonna die, or nobody's gonna buy. Everyone's gonna die. Yeah, eventually."
I stopped Watch Dogs 2. I got way toward the end. I just couldn't deal with the characters and the attitude and the style of the game. It was so grating. I just couldn't do it anymore.
I feel like I was playing Dead Mouse the game.
Yeah, yeah, it was bad.
Makai, he's got a bone to pick with you. He says, "What are you talking about? The main character?" And I lost my spot because the chat moved. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, the main character was okay in that game, but the associates and everybody else, they kind of sucked straight up.
Yeah, his whole team, I couldn't stand him. They were just really annoying.
Fonz and Luke are playing fucking Pinocchles in the chat. What the fuck are you guys doing? Fucking just playing all out Pinochle War in the chat there.
Gavin.
Hey, once more,
Gavin, that's what it is. Dang it,
Gavin. Once more, I got to give a shout out to over 600 people watch this live, guys. Let's try to get up to 300 likes for the end of the show. It really helps. Shout out to the 30 pissed off little fanboys that got mad because we told you exactly what was happening with Sony and you didn't like that, or maybe you just didn't know because you don't listen to accurate stuff. But hey, it is what it is. Hey, so
Sony is crouching down to stand tall later.
Tony is God. So hey, so Watch Dogs 3 coming. And we've also got some information on an update with Xbox as well. This one is bound to fix a lot of the issues and bugs. Zachary, do you have the topics list here in front of you? You want to read these off?
Yep. They're adding the ability to restart the system by holding down the jewel on the controller.
Yeah, so that's the guide button.
Yeah, the guide. Yeah, everybody. There you go. You know how it's hard to find settings.
Keep going.
Fixing bugs with Skype, Netflix, and more. I hope that's the bugs, like where if you click it and it doesn't launch, you have to hard reset. I hope it's that one.
And which is like probably the reason the hold the jewel button and restart from the couch is even there because people
like I gotta get up, fuckers. Fixing game launch crashes, profile color bug, adding mini keyboard, and fixes notification and group chat issues.
Hasn't couldn't you always turn it off and turn it back on from the jewel button?
You know what, Fonz? You're just adding another step here.
No, you couldn't restart. You could just power it down and power it back on.
Yeah, Mike Barr saw fit to bless us with one button press that does those two things.
So I didn't have to do it twice. Okay, thank you, Mike.
It's good guy Mike over there.
Yeah,
thank you, Mikey.
Yes.
Why isn't this thing like a PC?
So this is much like a stability update. There's been a lot of weird bugs on, like, I guess they just said, fuck it, we're not updating the Xbox no more. Because we haven't gotten any real updates in a long time. Like, maybe one of you guys in the chat can tell us, but it's been quite a while.
Okay, if Mike's listening, what about the bug that we have with the DVR? Fix that, please.
Yeah, that's kind of a custom problem.
What's that bug?
The bug is about half or a little less than half of the game DVR clips will not import into Adobe Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro. They come in as audio only. And it's a new problem. It's been happening about a month or two, right, dealer?
I'm not getting half. I'm not nowhere near half.
I'm nowhere near half.
It is a large chunk, and it's not the blue audio bar from the video. It turns that video into a voiceover green audio bar, which you cannot get to show up in the timeline. Nice. You're fucked. So you got to use shadow play to capture it and then throw it back in there. And it's so stupid.
Yeah, the weird thing is it plays on it'll play on any video player in your computer, but when you bring it into your editing program, and we've only tested it on Premiere Pro and Final Cut Pro, yeah, you're right. It's just, it doesn't want to import it. Just brings in audio.
For me, it's about 30% of my clips.
Yeah, I'm just guessing on the number. I just get frustrated when I recorded 100 clips of Crackdown 3, and I went through, and it seemed like every, I don't know, 4 or 5 clips I'd bring it in. I'm like, nope, didn't work.
Is there a difference between 4K and 1080p? Because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I might jinx myself right now and totally screw myself over. I didn't have one problem like this.
I'm sure it's a 4K codec problem because they use a different codec. And anybody who's working with YouTube, it's this dealer and I are kind of only talking to a small group of people that care. But if you're uploading 4K footage like dealer and I do, and D, if you're uploading 4K footage, YouTube has a problem as well. So there must be a codec problem that's going on in more than one place.
I get my footage 98%. I'll use the occasional rare PC footage. I don't play on PC, but I capture it straight from the thumb drive, throw it in the USB, and literally just transfer it that quick and be done. It's all Xbox One X footage. It looks insane. So it's definitely annoying. It happened a lot with Resident Evil 2, which I haven't used that video clip.
It also extends over to HDR too, because I do some HDR uploads. I haven't done any in a little bit because sometimes it takes 4, 5, 6 days for this stuff to resolve. I don't understand why the Xbox can't just encode the HDR so I can just upload it directly. Why I gotta re-encode it to bring up the HDR metadata? That's just something that has to be corrected, at least for next generation. But yeah.
So that metadata is in the clip, but you're telling me it's not available unless you render it. And
you have to extract the metadata from it. Yeah, it's there. It's in the clip. It's there. The information is there. But the way they encode it, you can't just directly upload it to YouTube. YouTube doesn't know that there's HDR in it. So you've got to.
Mike, if you're listening, if you can get that fixed for us, we'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, it only helps to make the games look better. Philly Eagle, what's going on, brother? He says nothing special to say this time. Just showing some support. Love the show, and of course the panel is always top notch. Thanks for the content. Thank you for showing up. That's why we do it. We love talking about games. We're lucky you guys show up, listen to us talk, and it's fan-fucking-tastic. So we've also got Zalker. Just to go back to that, a lot of stability stuff. Microsoft have no big words on when an actual substantial update's coming, but as of right now, they're fixing stuff that they fucked up in the past. They should really start by fixing that damn dashboard that, if you're not running in the 1080p mode of with the X, which I did a video, kind of going through how to set it to 1080p resolution on the dashboard, it'll actually render the game at 4K still if you have allow 4K selected. But there's a bug for some people apparently, which is part of this update, where it would actually render the game in 1080p. But even though the dashboard literally tells you the game will actually stay in 4K, even though the dashboard is in 1080p, it'll run faster, but you can still play your games at the fidelity you want. That was a bug. So that has apparently been notified and kind of fixed. Other than that, though, I mean...
Was that what Digital Foundry was referring to, that they couldn't switch it down to 1080p, that it was stuck at 4K?
I do not know what you're talking about.
One of their games, what was the game? I think it was Anthem.
No, that's a result of the system level automatic super sampling the Xbox One X does. So if they freed up, even if they did get the game to do 1080p, like let's say there was like PS4 Pro, when you set the system resolution to 1080p, the game is 1080p, right? Even if Xbox One X had that option and actually worked that way, their software would automatically super sample, those extra 6 million pixels anyway.
Right.
So it's kind of a disadvantage in that way.
Yeah.
But that game was running like trash, at 1080p on the Pro anyway. It was like low 40s, mid 30s half the time. And it was just wasn't, we just talked about this, D. No way Anthem's probably doing a lock 30, a lock 60 in combat and all that stuff's not happening.
No, I watched a lot of the analysis that were out there, and it went from like 30 to 45, hovered at 50 for a second, dropped down to 40, 38, 37. So yeah, it's nowhere near a stable 60 frames per second like a lot of people try to make it out to be.
Yeah,
yeah, no, I definitely played it on the Pro at that so-called 60 frame. Yeah, it's definitely not.
yeah.
I went right back to playing it in 4K or near 1800p, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Colt Eastwood.
Yes, sir.
Colt Eastwood. We've got an analyst here talking about there being what he says in the article, if it's translated correctly, right? This is what I talked about in my last video, but a lot of people, maybe didn't catch it. There's an analyst saying that there will be 2 models of the PS5 at launch, and PS5 will be a high performance console for around $500 or less than $500. And they're actually going to kind of shoot for the same stuff with like PS4. Do you see that being the case? You think Sony are kind of, seeing what Xbox are doing and be like,
that is such a surprise to me, but I can see them being a little bit worried about a high, like a fast processor Xbox coming out for $300 underneath the PS5 for $400. Like that could be worrisome. A lot of people go into stores and just look at the price tag. They're like, "Oh, my kid wants a Nintendo, so I'll get him this black one," and they grab a Xbox One X. I don't know.
Do you think it'll have 2 HDMI ports?
What? The PS5?
Yeah. Wow.
How many does the Pro have?
16.
Okay. Yeah. I see 2 HDMIs.
For VR, maybe.
It's got one HDMI port.
Yeah. I mean, you got to have that flexibility. I think that's going to be normal. Yeah. This is it's crazy to think about, and it's less than 2 years away.
Mm-hmm. As I said earlier, man, Microsoft are very confident that they're going to have the most power and the cheapest version, as we talked about before. So we'll see if this Hideki guy is right. Either way, Calvillo, Guillermo actually had a pretty cool thing that he wanted to point out. The PS5's full backwards compatibility article, where people are talking about how the PS5 may be fully backwards compatible from Gen 1 to now. And I ask, people, why not? The Xbox One already does this through emulation. They've seen it done. They've surely taken a look at how it's done. The Xbox One plays OG 360 X1 games, and so on and so forth. You think it's happening? And will those games be 60?
I'm a little skeptical. I don't know, maybe the PS1, so PS2 house, because that wouldn't be too hard to emulate. I'm a little skeptical on the PS3 games just because of the cell architecture that was in that console. So I don't know how many games they'd be able to bring over, like if it'd be all their games, maybe some of their games. It'd be good for people that are invested in the platform, for sure. You wouldn't have to go through the whole remaster shit that we went through with the PlayStation 4. You could just replay the games that you own with a higher fidelity on your PlayStation 5. So it'd be great fan service. I don't know, with Sony, with all their services that they have, I don't know.
It's 3 games natively, right?
But Jim Ryan said that who would want to play those old games?
And he's the head now, so we don't know, man. It's very skeptical. That's a lot. That's honestly what I saw on the N4G and Reddit and all those people saying rip backwards compat with PS5. That's what a lot of fans are worried about. And wouldn't this make it, like, unless they do something different with PS Now, I don't know, wouldn't it render that useless? Because at that point,
don't forget, he not only said that, he also talked about indie games like they weren't relevant anymore. Like,
and that, honestly, to tell you, I don't really care too much about indie games. However, I think that was a slap in the face to indie developers, because a lot of people have convenient memories. When Sony didn't have a lot of exclusives and their shit was scarce, they were relying on the indies. And when all these people were making these lists, they would list all these fucking indies. And now that they got through that storm, and they're leading the charge with their AAA titles, they say that indies aren't important. That just shows you the character of these guys.
I was there before I bought an Xbox. I was with the PlayStation 4, and I was sitting there playing all those indie games and everything. And I actually fell in love with indie games because the PlayStation 4 didn't have a lot of AAA games at the time. And for him to say that is just ridiculous. It's crazy.
And we got to give a shout out to Enrique, Basement Radio Arcade. Check them out. Also, chat, let us know. This is where I'm leaning on you guys once more, because I want a consensus here. One, if you think PS5 will have full and total backwards compatibility, keep in mind that the Xbox One does this today. It is possible, even though they don't do software the best. and neither do Microsoft half the fucking time. I think it's possible. Is it going to happen? That's why I want you guys. So 1, if you think it's possible. 2, if it's fuck no.
No, I think it's going to be a pick and choose situation, like Dee was saying earlier. I think they're going to probably try hard on certain titles, but I don't think they're going to be able to bring them all.
And just to be clear, PS4 games will be backwards compatible. I'm talking about PS3, PS2, PS1. That's what this article's saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So they're saying PS4 will be backwards compatible with PS5?
I'm saying PS4 will be backwards compatible.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it is.
It will be. I've been saying this for years. Malaka. So we got a lot of 1/2. Jesus. 1, 2, 2, a bunch of 2s. That's an extra fuck no. Yeah. I mean, I get it. Hey, PS1, PS2, PS3, and PS4 all in one system. That would be pretty intense. Pretty intense.
It would be a big selling point to a lot of people, because a lot of people do care about backwards compatibility. Some of these Sony guys, don't let them lie to you. Because every time they bring out a remaster of an old ass game and it plays exactly the same, they're buying it.
Yeah. And it's not even about that, man. It's about, hey, do I get to keep all the shit that I fucking paid for? It's mine. Do I get to keep it? With backwards compatibility, yes, you do.
Yeah.
Cultist, what do you think?
Yeah. They have to have it. I mean, I want to carry all the stuff over that I have, so it's going to happen, whether they use emulation or if it all just starts working. So.
Yeah, I actually bought digital PS4 games because I count this happening.
I mean, because they want PS2 and PS3 games. I don't know. Maybe they really will offer access for free via PS Now next generation. Those kind of change the way they do things. I mean, that's just something they need to do. Just open up the gate. If you own it digitally, all these games you picked up through PS Plus over the past 5 years, or by then 6 or 7 years, like, just authenticate it. I don't know if that's the right word. Zucker knows the right word. But if you own Uncharted 3 because you got it free on PS Plus back in 2012 or whatever it was, actually I think it's about when the game came out. If you have it, then PS Now just lets you access it. It looks behind the scenes, says, oh, so-and-so owns this. So there you go.
Shill says, Jesus Christ, this chat window is so small. I don't even know how to make this fucking thing bigger. Shill says the statistics
Control Plus
around backwards compatibility and how much it is used. I just can't see them doing it. Well, either way, if they don't do it, it's your responsibility, if you've got a PlayStation, to ask for it to be done, because you paid for those games. And as a matter of fact, they're going to have PS4 games come forward because the Xbox is bringing theirs forward. And one of the biggest things that are going to be holding a lot of Sony guys back from maybe going to something like a faster and more superior Xbox Anaconda, now loaded with tons of AAA first-party content, is going to be, hey, I spent $1,000 on my library of games. Am I going to abandon that now and go to Xbox? Holy shit. Like, think about that, right? You're going to abandon, I got like 700 games. Am I going to abandon that shit? Or what am I going to do, right? So you kind of get invested. So they have every single incentive to say, yeah, we absolutely need back and pat. So once more, let us know what you think about that. I just think it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I think to be honest with you, I think Xbox had to do it. We've had Aaron Greenberg, we've had the analysts say that the digital sales on Xbox are far, like, it's just so much more on there that if they didn't bring it over, they'd have a lot of pissed off fans. And I think that's, for me, I feel way more invested in Xbox digitally than I do PlayStation, because I think I only have one digital game on PlayStation. Everything else is physical disc. And I'm a little irritated because my PlayStation 3 broke and I have Uncharted 3 and I want to play it, but I can't. Like, it's just a useless damn disc now. So that kind of irritates me as a consumer and as a person that owns a PlayStation. And it doesn't make me feel very inclined to buy a PS5 when it comes out unless it has backwards compatibility with the games I already have right now.
Hey, just get PS Now and you'll be good. You'll be gold.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Mr. Glass, get out of that preview program, bro. It's not worth it. I had game discs that wouldn't read. Like, I thought my Xbox was breaking down. And a lot of people have issues with that. Xbox on their preview program, they think it's the Xbox. It's all software. So
huge update.
I will never, ever do any type of software testing for them. I guess I'm still technically in the insider program. But nonetheless, I had it on my PC. It destroyed one of my PCs, erased everything. When I had it on my Xbox, so many issues, just like games not loading up. My hard drive's not working. Oh, what a mess.
Shout out to Mega Bass Seed as well. We've also got Shoguns. We've got Shoot Shot You or Stu Shot You. We've got so many people in the chat. We do appreciate you guys showing up. Like I said, hit that like button as we kind of get into our last topic here. Xbox 2, PS5 to bring major changes to console history, says developer. Now, we do know that PS5 development kits have kind of been rumored to be out there in the wild, right? We've heard this from some pretty credible sources, right, D? What kind of changes, how do you think these consoles are going to change history aside from being the most balanced consoles with higher frame rates and things like that?
I don't know, man. I think maybe the PlayStation 5 might be the first console that really brings VR to the mainstream. I think they're going to make a big push for VR. I think they're probably going to come up with a wireless VR headset. So I think that might be industry changing, similar to how the Wii had the Wii U had the effect on people, whatever, or the Wii, sorry. And the next Xbox, I don't know. Next generation, just bringing us 4K 60, with most of the bells and whistles is enough for most gamers. So just bring us new good games. Watch them. The AI on the in their games, improve the AI in the games, physics, give us some close to photorealistic looking games. That's all I want from next gen, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'll take 1440p at 60 frames on my open world games. Give me that. I'll take that with arms wide open.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Zucker.
I'm not going to do it live. Dealers
do
have
it. Okay, do it, Zucker.
Oh my god.
I'm not.
Do it.
Hans likes to pick things up with his butt cheeks, so he gets them confused. Marquise Goodwin, what's going on, brother? He says Forza 7 is getting quite a bit better. Yeah, I actually multiplayer wise, some of the balancing, the homologation, and all that, I wasn't a big fan of it. They didn't ask for much feedback on that. They said, fuck you, this is what we're doing, and you're gonna like it. And by the way, there's still no club garages or any new upgrades for the last 10 years. So
I'm gonna go a different route, by the way, with this little major changes to history. I'm not going to go with the 4K or the 60 frames. I think just industry wide, it's going to be Sean. Okay, so I'm going to take a little thing from what Sean Layden said in that interview. He said gaming has become far more mainstream. Usually, he said, I remember a day where we would just hire programmers. He's like, and I go to colleges now telling people we don't need programmers. Like we do, but we need marketing. We need people that are in the industry. Like Initiative just hired someone from fucking SpaceX, people. And that's like what he's saying is that the gaming industry is becoming so mainstream. Like, look at Twitch, look at everything you're seeing, that everybody's a part of it. Mobile gaming, it doesn't matter. It's gaming, people. And everybody in the world is starting to see how fun gaming is. Like, this is our passion. We've been playing it since we were kids. What we have to realize is that a lot of people haven't been doing that. They don't play games. A lot of people don't. And it's starting to become seeping into mainstream to the point it's making more money than Hollywood. And I think that's what they're talking about, is that this next generation's really going to be at the forefront of technology, at the forefront of everything for gaming, and it's going to be worldwide, beyond anything we've ever seen before. And I think Microsoft and Amazon, Google, Sony, all these companies are actually trying to figure out how to tackle that problem, where it's become a mainstream thing. That's the way I look at it. And I understand you were excited as geeks for the 4K and all that stuff, but I'm excited to see as a business end and as everything moves forward, what investments are going to be put into gaming, because we already see Microsoft investing a lot. Sony's talked about buying studios and actually hiring more people. They opened a new studio in San Diego. This is the most investment we've ever seen in gaming, and I'm freaking excited for next generation.
So I teared up.
I know, me too.
I'm still
with arms wide open. No.
Stop. Jesus Christ.
Okay. I mean, it's an inside joke, but like when we're in party chat, like Zocker will sing the first line from Creed's With Arms Wide Open like that to just annoy the heck out of us. And we get a good laugh. So that's why we did that. Just to let you guys in.
What's going on, Big Germ? Shadow. Yes. Speaking of Shadow, let me know in the chat if you guys have. I haven't seen anybody in my friends that's playing Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Was it just that everyone played it at launch, or what's going on here? Because that's a phenomenal game.
I think everybody unfortunately bought it, and then now it's free.
Well, it's in Game Pass. If you have not tried Shadow of the Tomb Raider, do not listen to your fraudulent friend that said, it's not that good. Because it is that good. It's actually pretty good. Zucker just played it, right?
Dealer, is it a Game
Yeah,
Pass?
I did. I beat it. And you saw me in the friend chat. Oh, I'm sorry, D. Go ahead, buddy.
It's in Game Pass, yeah.
No, I'm saying because it's in Game Pass. Is it available on PC too, or just?
No, it's not. It's not Play Anywhere.
No, D-Batch. You'll have to boot up your Xbox.
But it has 60 frames.
Get ready for that, man. I think that's what Xbox is talking about when they say they want to bring Game Pass to PC. I think they're trying to get developers to be like, hey, if you have Game Pass, you can get it on PC. Kind of like what EA does. Like they have a separate thing for Origin. I hope they integrate it with consoles. So if you're a subscription to Origin, you can use that on Xbox, PlayStation, and on PC for the $100 a year. I think that would really expand their base. And I'm hoping that's what Xbox is trying to do. Satya has talked about bringing Game Pass to PC, and I think that's what he means, that you can play those games on your PC also.
Speaking of Origin, I don't know if any of you guys did a story on it, but something was in the news last week that Sony's thinking about bringing Origin over to the PlayStation. Did you guys hear about that?
EA Access, yeah. I don't know about Origin. That's up
should have been there years ago. You know, people were pissed at EA because you were allowed to play Anthem so early on Xbox, and I'm like, could Sony turn that down? They said it's not good for their consumers, aka we have a competing service, right? Hey, another question for the chat, because I've been legitimately wondering this, and I figured, hey, maybe I can ask it here. Shadow of the Tomb Raider DLC. I got the Croft edition, and there's a ton of tombs and stuff that have been added to the game. Are those in the story mode? So if I do New Game Plus, will those kind of pop up along the way, or is that its own dedicated mode, or it's nothing to do with narrative and or anything like that? Please let me know if you know. But yeah, D, that's you're right. Yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff, man. Anything anyone else wants to kind of add about this? Like I said, Game Pass got even better this month. Crackdown launching Thursday night. You've got Shadow of the Tomb Raider that's in there now. You've got Batman Arkham Return to Arkham, the collection that is enhanced on the X. It doesn't take full advantage of the hardware, but it still looks really phenomenal.
And so what are there's like 2 more games coming like this week or next week they're going to announce?
In 2 weeks.
BMX something and fucking something.
Speaking about Crackdown 3 hitting Thursday night, you know what? Honestly, I want to give it a try in Game Pass.
Hell yeah.
I want to give it a try, see how it is. I mean, if anybody hasn't seen Clean Prince Gaming here on YouTube, he actually broke the street date or the review date.
Crackdown killed itself.
And he basically
was murdered.
And the gist of his review, from what I got from it, was that he thought it was an okay game, that it wasn't the terrible game everybody was expecting. So, you know what? I'm going to give it a try. Why not?
Good.
Yeah. You know. I'm glad you decided to take, what's his name? Clean Prince Gaming's advice, Fonz.
It's not just Clean Prince Gaming. Come on.
He's a legend. Why not? You know, you might as well just go with it.
The legend of memes. Yeah.
I don't want to give any game
but don't, Fonz. It looks like a 360 game. Don't play it.
Actually,
he plays old games, Fonz.
Hey, go watch that. The footage is really good, and he actually, you know, he shows it right there. It does not look like a 360 game at all. At all.
I'm not gonna watch anything about it. I'm just gonna play it.
What?
I can hear Dealer going, "Oh, yeah, I only play photorealistic games that have lots of blood."
Yeah. Play more games than all you frauds combined.
He does.
Highly doubtful.
Gamerscore doesn't lie, but actually it does lie these days. Fucking indie game playing motherfuckers.
Exactly.
I got AAA Gamerscore for the most part. That's what I call it. So shout out to Lethal as well for always doing a great job as a moderator. Give him a thumbs up in the chat, guys. Like I said, Z Black Rider, what's going on, buddy? Mega Bad Seed. Thank you guys. Whether you agree or disagree, or Sony guy, Nintendo guy, and Nokia Engage, whatever the fuck you're into, we're all gamers. We like what we like. We try to look at things from more than one perspective. What's going on, Lady Foxfire? We need to get you on the show, by the way. I'm gonna reach out to you here soon. So you know, we're all gamers at the end of the day, and let us know what you're into, what you like, what you're looking forward to. Fonzarelli, you know what? I'm gonna let you close out the show, sir, because you've come around. You're playing Odyssey, and I feel like you deserve to do this.
How would you like me to do this? Okay, I got a perfect way to do it. With arms wide open.
Yeah.
All right. No, seriously. Hey, everybody, thank you for watching this and listening to us and ramble about a whole bunch of different topics today. I had a great time. The chat, you are excellent. You are wonderful, beautiful people. Thank you for listening. And
he can't see you. He's lying.
We are out of here.
Hey, also finger bang that like button as we get out of here, guys. Once more, thanks so much. We're out.
Peace.
Later.
I signed up twice.